Welcome back to Movie Rewind. Today we'll be looking at the movie Superbad. There will be spoilers ahead, so do take care. The movie opens with Seth talking to his friend on the phone. He tells Evan about some websites and the two begin to think about the benefits. Moments later, Seth arrives at Evan's house to pick him up. They then ride to school together. They talk about being in their senior year with graduation just approaching. They stop at a gas station. They grab some snacks and begin to flip through some adult magazines. They then talk about their crushes. Evan apparently likes a girl called Becca, while Seth likes Jules. They feel the need to lose their virginity before college and then emphasize that it needs to be done soon. As they leave the gas station, Jesse and a group of other boys stop them and try to bully them. Seth and Evan choose to walk away without retaliating. After class, Becca returns a pen to Evan. She asks him if he will attend Jesse's graduation party because she never sees him at any of the high school parties. He replies that he will think about it. Meanwhile, Seth is in a cooking class. He doesn't have a partner and might have to do all of the work, so his teacher tells him that he can partner with Jules for the day. He has a swell time baking with her, and she invites him to a party that she's having at her house that night. Seth tells Evan about the party, and they both decide it's best not to tell their other friend Fogel. They feel he is actually really lame and would only drag them down. Fogel shows up in their class. He tells them about his plans to acquire a fake ID after school. Seth then takes advantage of this opportunity. He tells Fogel about the party so that they can use his fake ID to get drinks for the party. This way they can impress the girls. Fogel agrees, so Seth goes to Jules with the promise to get them drinks with a fake ID. While all this is happening, Seth gets upset that Evan and Fogel got into the same school. While at lunch, they are talking about girls when Evan and Seth get into it. Seth was talking badly about Becca and Evan called him out on it. Seth then explains that he doesn't like her because of an incident where she told on him back in elementary school. After class, Jules pulls Seth aside and gives him $100. She tells him the specific kinds of drinks she wants and he assures her that he will be there with the drinks. Seth is excited and tells Evan that he plans to get Jules drunk so that she will be interested in him. Evan counters that and says that Jules is rather using him to do the dirty work of getting alcohol for her party. But Seth is convinced that this is the long-awaited opportunity to get laid before college. When school closes for the day, Seth and Evan wait for Fogel impatiently. He eventually shows up with a fake-looking ID card, and this enrages Seth. Fogel assures them that the ID will work. Seth and Evan return to Evan's house to prepare for the party. Seth refuses to go home because his parents would be furious that his car has just been towed. With Seth's car gone, they have to take the bus. They meet up with Fogel outside the grocery store where he works. Seth takes another look at the ID card and gets infuriated again. He decides that he will just go into the store and steal the drinks himself. Of course, he chickens out of the plan and goes back to the parking lot without the alcohol. The three of them take another bus to a liquor store. They give Fogel the money and the list of all of the alcohol that Jules requested. Fogel is nervous and tries to bail, but Seth bullies him into doing it. Unfortunately, Fogel is assaulted by a man who attempts to rob the liquor store. The cashier had called the police, so when they arrived, Seth and Evan fled the scene because they assumed Fogel was about to be arrested for using a fake ID. They run into a man in the parking lot. Technically, he almost runs Seth over. In exchange for not calling the cops on him, he agrees to buy the alcohol for them. Back at the liquor store, the officers question Fogel. They look at his ID and tease that McLovin is a badass name. They seem to like him and even offer to give him a ride. Seth and Evan follow the man to a party. Surprisingly, he is kicked out of the place because he wasn't invited. Seth and Evan use this distraction to run. When they dash inside, Seth suggests taking some of the liquor with them, but Evan refuses. Meanwhile, Fogel is still with the police. They have to attend to something, so they take him along. Fogel helps them catch the drunk guy who is disturbing the peace. The policemen decide to thank Fogel by buying him a few rounds of beers and also giving him advice on how to pick up women. Seth eventually gets caught up in the party while trying to steal the drinks. He even dances with one of the women. At some point, Evan uses one of the phones in the house to call Becca. He wants her to know that he is still coming over. On the other hand, Seth gets a stain on his pants, so he goes to the basement to wash the stain off. There, he finds a stash of drinks in the refrigerator. He then empties some detergent containers and refills it with the alcohol. Meanwhile, Fogel is still with the police. They get called to break up the house party that Seth and Evan just happened to be at. At this time, Seth carries the alcohol-filled detergent containers upstairs, but he is confronted by the party's host. Apparently, Seth had been dancing with his fiancée, so he was pissed. It leads to a big fight, but Seth and Evan manage to get away. Now on the road, Seth finally expresses his anger that Evan is ditching him to go to college because it's the same way he had just ditched him at the party. Just then, the police drive down the street and end up hitting Seth. The policemen have clearly been drinking, but still hold Seth and Evan at gunpoint. They even attempt to blame the situation on the boys since they are underage and have alcohol on them. One of the policemen writes a witness report for Fogel to sign. The report clears their name of any blame in the incident. Evan eventually distracts the police by running away. This gives Seth and Fogel time to run in the other direction. The boys outrun the police and later meet up. They still have the alcohol, so they decide to go there when they realize they're only 3 blocks from the party. By the time they get there, Seth learns that Evan will be rooming with Fogel in college. Seth gets angry and enters the party alone holding the alcohol. Jules sees him and announces his entrance. They cheer for him and everyone starts drinking. Evan later learns that Becca is very drunk and has been waiting for him all night. Evan thinks it is wrong to do anything when she is in that state, so he takes a bottle of liquor to the bathroom so that he can get drunk as well. Fogel finds a girl who is impressed by his fake ID and dances with her. Once Evan gets drunk, he finds Becca and they go upstairs to find an empty room. They get physical, but Evan gets uncomfortable and says he's too drunk. Becca makes fun of him and he eventually leaves. Seth finds Jules and they go outside to talk. He tries to kiss her, but she rejects him because he is too drunk. Seth gets upset because his plan has worked against him. In this state, he passes out and, in the process, accidentally hits Jules in the eye with his head. The policemen finally arrive to break up the party. Seth hears this and goes to find Evan. He finds him passed out on the couch because he drank quite a lot. Seth had to pick him up and carry him out of the party. The police go upstairs and find Fogel and the girl getting it on. The girl rushes out and the police apologize for interrupting Fogel. Fogel says they can make it up to him by escorting him from the party and putting him in the back of the police car. As they do this, all the kids on the lawn think that Fogel is a cool kid. Meanwhile, Evan wakes up while Seth is carrying him. They both apologize to each other and they both agree to a sleepover at Evan's place. At home, they pass out drunk on the floor. Seth seems embarrassed the next morning, but Evan says he would love to hang out with him more. They agree to go to the mall together, and the movie ends with the boys running into Becca and Jules, who are also shopping together. Do leave us a comment telling us your favorite part of the movie. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to avoid missing the next recap. Until next time, folks, take care and goodbye.